Welcome back to Hiking with Kathleen. In today's video, this is where Shannon and I are wrapping up our 6-week spring camping season at Awenda Provincial Park. It's a beautiful park. The sites are huge, roomy, with lots of buffer zone. That's one of the really big pluses that we love about this campground. From here, you can actually have a beautiful view of Georgian Bay from Awenda's beach. Starting off my stay here, I went for a hike, and it was a healthy one. I hiked from the campsite over to Kettles Lake, over to the beach which overlooks Georgian Bay. That was a 15-kilometer hiking day. As well, Shannon and I went to a powwow. That was something we were hoping we were able to see at Manitoulin Island, but our dates did not line up with their powwow schedule. Well, we were fortunate. We were able to go to one in nearby Midland, Ontario. As well, I was able to check out the Georgian Bay Islands National Park. That is the smallest national park we have in Canada. Had a chance to do that by boat. Stay tuned. All of that and more is coming up. Coming in. Welcome to our site at Awenda Provincial Park. We arrived here yesterday. It was a rainy drive pretty much the whole way here. So we went into Penetanguishene in order to find out a few things about what's going on in the area. And there's no cell service in the park. And I assume it's because of all of these tall trees. I think Shannon was able to pick up a little bit when we were down by one of the waterways. I'm actually going to be heading down by pathway to Kettles Lake. And when we went to check it out yesterday and found some loons swimming on the water, she was able to pick up a little bit of a cell signal there. So I guess as long as we're away from the trees, which means zero cell service here at our site, we might be able to get a little bit without having to drive into town each time. Anyway, Miley had a chance to get out and enjoy it. She loves this site. I think there's just a lot of interesting sights and sounds and smells for her. But I'm going to be making my way out on the trail right now, and I'm bringing you along. So I chose to walk along the road for a part of this journey to get on a different trail. And really it was just to give myself a little bit of a break from the mosquitoes. This bug shirt by the original Bug Shirt Company is absolutely flawless. There's no bug bites that get through this. But because I need to work a camera, sometimes I buy gloves that have the fingers covered so that mosquitoes can't get to me. But then I have to take them off in order to set up the camera and tap on the digital screen so it knows where to focus. So this is still my problem. They're not biting through my pants, they're not biting through anything else. But so I just wanted to get a little bit of relief by walking along the roads. And it wasn't much of a relief because they were hot on my trail. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, they're basically just swarming right now. But anyway, I'll continue on, and eventually I'm going to get to Kettles Lake, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'm on a closed road now, and this is marked on the map. By going up this way, it brings me to Kettles Lake. So if I continue along here, it's combined right now, it's Bluff and Brule Trail. I'm interested in going to Kettles Lake, so I'm going up this way. So this is where Shannon and I came yesterday just to check it out. And it's from this viewing platform that we saw 3 loons out there on the lake, Kettles Lake. So anyway, I have my binoculars, I've got my big lens, and just see what I have to see. Down there's some people fishing on the dock, so I'm just going to steer clear of that and maybe be able to capture some wildlife that I haven't yet seen. So I've been just having a little break down here at the beach. It's very windy, about 50-kilometer-an-hour winds. Makes it interesting when watching the waves. So it's nice because I'm away from the bugs because it's too windy for the bugs to fly around here. I've hiked about 15,000 steps so far. I've been out since 7:30 this morning. Last time I looked at my watch, it was just about noon or a little after. So I found a nice isolated part of the beach down here where I had a picnic table to sit at. My own little section here. There are a few other people that are on the beach with children. So anyway, it was just nice to have that little time carved out for myself. And so now I am going to hike back to the site. So we are camping in Hawk Campground, and it's kind of like at the opposite end of the park to where I am. So I've got a little journey ahead of me, and I may as well just get started. So I didn't want to go back, retrace my steps, because hiking through the woods was rather buggy, and instead I choose the route taken by vehicle traffic where the slope is like this. So I didn't beat those stairs. There were a lot of stairs to go down when I was on the trail. It's just, this is windier, it's open, and there's fewer bugs. So anyway, it's warning cyclists to dismount or be very cautious on the other couple of signs ahead. Anyway, I'm just making my way along the road and then eventually back to my campground. Okay, so I just got back to our site. There's no cell service, so there's no calling anybody to help give me a lift or anything. And I'm telling you, I'm just exhausted. I spent a little bit of time sitting up at the registration office because there's benches there, and the woman who registered us yesterday, she came out and chatted with me and is from Midland. Lovely, very pleasant woman, and so I asked her about some things that we might like to see when we go into Midland tomorrow, and so she was very helpful that way. So here's what I have done. I left the site at 7:30. It's 2 p.m. right now. 23,600 steps, and then that's 15.5 kilometers that I've traveled. So anyway, I'm glad that I brought water with me. Glad it was only 14 degrees. The bugs were really bad in the bush, so that's why I took to the road. And anyway, I guess I'll talk a little bit more later, but I've just got to catch my breath right now. So Shannon and I are here at a powwow. We are so excited to be here. We had hoped to be at a powwow on Manitoulin Island, but the dates we booked didn't coincide with their powwows. So we're here, and Shannon is just speaking with a representative from Parks Canada. I already had a chat with her. Her name is Annette. She's a park superintendent of Georgian Bay National Park. And I have just booked a trip. It's a boat trip over to one of the islands that's under the national parks. So she gave me some really good information that I'll be using tomorrow, the date of the boat ride. So Shannon and I are just leaving the park where we went to the powwow, and we probably spent a good 4 hours there. We finished off with a nice buffalo burger. That was really tasty. Yeah, it was. And then we just sat and watched the performers a little bit longer. But anyway, it was a really fulfilling experience. We're really glad we did it and went to the various exhibitors. And then Shannon picked up a couple of children's books for our grandson. So that will be something that will be fun to give to him. And I'm really glad I made my contact, made a new connection from Georgian Bay National Park. So Anyway, all in all, it was a really great, fruitful day. And now we are going to go and explore Midland a little bit more. So we're getting ready to push off from Honey Harbor, and we've been told that the boat will travel at 70 kilometers an hour. So this is my pre-boat ride look. So we landed here on Beausoleil Island probably a good 20 minutes ago, and I'm looking at some of the sites that are right here on the water. So this would be a neat place. And I've had a chance to speak with some of the researchers that are actually here to study the snake population. I think they're actually interested in any herptiles. Okay, so we've got some Canada geese ushering their little ones back to the water. I don't want to stress them out. This is a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful day. Even better than just a beautiful day, it's a beautiful snake day. That's always what I hope to see. And what I mean by that is the temperatures aren't too warm, about 17 or 18 degrees right now. Sunny, so it's basking weather. And anyway, I'll have a look around. So I have a couple of researchers that have allowed me to spend some time with them as they are combing the area where they have been used to finding an eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. And so it was found again, but was very close to the spot where it ducks for protection. And so they weren't able to catch it in order to properly ID it. But anyway, it's an interesting thing because you just go to the snake habitat and you never know what you might find. So I had the pleasure of spending some time with Emily and Oliver, and they both work out of Carleton University doing reptile and amphibian research. So anyway, they had a chance to see an eastern Massasauga rattlesnake in an area where this particular snake has been seen before. I didn't get to see it, but that's okay. I saw the enthusiasm and excitement on their faces when they did see it come into view. This is where they are doing snake research, and this is so they can build up a better database. And here in the Georgian Bay Islands National Park, on this island, they have been able to identify, not just the two of them, but with a database, 11 of the 17 species of snakes that live in Ontario. So I think that's extremely impressive because I always thought of this as, you know, having harsher winters, snow country, and things of that nature. But it has the ideal habitat setting for a variety of species like fox snakes, milk snakes, water snakes, and of course the beloved eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. So anyway, they parted ways because then they have a mission to go on to another area and check for other snakes. So I'm going to continue to look around here during my time on the island. It should be noted that any of the work that is done on the reptiles and amphibians that are covered in this research are done with appropriate permits. So these individuals are working not only through Carleton University but also Parks Canada. So they have all the permitting that is required in order to be able to research and handle them. So I'm just doing a little exploring because our boat is picking us up at 2:45. It's just a little after 2 o'clock right now. So lots of boats around here. I'm, of course, more interested in seeing the wildlife. So just have a little look before my time is up. But it's a pretty cool setting. So I'm glad I had a chance to have a look around and have a little lunch here. So now I've had a good sense of Georgian Bay, at least in this area, and earlier when we were in Tobermory. So I feel good about that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to the dock because that's where the boat is going to pick us up. So what a nice way to spend a day though. Beautiful weather and beautiful sightings. Like, you know, I even had a chance to get a little bit of bird footage. So that's been a real treat. But the biggest treat, I think, was being able to spend some time with Emily and Oliver and learning from them what it is they're doing as far as their snake research. Yeah, great timing for me to meet with them today. So we're actually at a stopover, just a 10-minute wait. It's the same island. So this is the Chimney stop. It's the north end of the same island. And it just goes to show how different this island is, you know, from one end to the other. So this is where you have coniferous trees, coniferous understory, and a rocky feel to it, as opposed to the sandy feel on the other side. So we are just wrapping up our time here at Awenda Provincial Park. And in fact, we're going to be heading home tomorrow. And that will have been about 6 weeks in length. So this has been a pretty amazing trip. And one of the things I want to mention, because if there are others who are viewing and are interested in doing a trek this long but wonder, well, what kind of a cost are you looking at? The way that we plan it is a lot of times for provincial parks you have to book 5 months in advance, and then the other things get put into place, like the ferry ride over to Manitoulin. Like, you hope all of your dates line up with provincial parks, and we had a couple of private parks that we needed to stay in because provincial parks didn't exist to accommodate us in our camping dates. So we camp about 20% of the year, and we figure in almost all cases we book electrical sites. So using round figures, if this is something that's of interest to you after you have the trailer, or the vehicles in order to get you to where you need to go, and your equipment, your camping equipment, this is just the bare cost of going camping and the nights you're spending paying for your overnight time. It costs us about $4,000 a year to do this. Well, when you're considering there's two of us, that's $2,000 a person. And we figure probably about $1,000, which would include things like gas, food, things like that along the way. So it's roughly $3,000 a person to go away for 20% of the year. So we go away 6 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks in the fall. That pretty well covers our expenses. So it is something that we find is manageable, and it certainly buys a lot more of those 1 or 2 week getaways on an airplane, right? Because in this case here, it covers off many, many days, many weeks at a time. So that's really what has made our retirement very, very fulfilling. So as far as spending time here at Awenda, the sites are like top of the line. They're the best because we love these huge buffer zones, huge, beautiful canopy. As an aside, we were here about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was when we were finished exploring Lake Superior Provincial Park, and we didn't know why the canopy looked so bare. They were in a gypsy moth outbreak, and those caterpillars of that moth eat any sort of foliage, so except for coniferous trees, I guess. But anyway, so this looks lush and beautiful. Every road we took was beautiful. So we have really enjoyed this. The Kettles Lake, beautiful. Got to see some loons there, and then making our way over to Georgian Bay by looking through the beach. It was another spectacular view. The one thing I have to say that's probably on the negative side, we knew it coming in, is there's 0 cell signal available here. And that is because of all the trees. So it always makes my heart very happy when we are going to a campground and I see a cell tower just, outside of the campground somewhere. But as for here, there were a couple of possibilities of getting cell signal, and that was when we were down at Kettles Lake and also at the beach, because of course you're away from the trees. So we would go in and check in, or if you're in the town of Midland or nearby Penetanguishene, that's also where you can pick up cell signal, no problem. And that's also where you get your provisions. So it's not too far, and it gives you a chance to, experience some of the city life, like going out and getting a bite to eat somewhere. Other than that, I would have to say this has been a really great experience and a really great way to wrap up our 6 weeks on the road. I hope you've enjoyed this. If so, please consider subscribing. There'll be other adventures taking place in the fall. We've got new parks lined up that we haven't tried before and that we haven't revealed yet. And other than that, we really appreciate all of your comments and likes and interactions along the way. Take care. See you out in the trail next Tuesday morning. Bye for now. So Shannon and I make it a habit where at night, because we have no cell signal at our site, we come down to Kettles Lake, sit in the parking lot, and not every time, but sometimes I come down here, right to the lake. And that's when I just had a chance to see the cool beaver sighting. I'd already noticed it's got a beaver lodge across the way, but now in this case here, I got to see the beaver in action. And it's because it's, about 2 hours away from sunset, an hour and a half maybe. Yeah. And some other people were just down here, but it's all about timing, and they missed it. But anyway, it's so peaceful out here on the lake right now.